Games are now the dominant genre in media. The industry for games is larger than film and television. This is something that 100 million Americans did this week, played a game. So why do people like games? There's a bundle of ingredients in games that are making them particularly interesting right now. I think one of the reasons that they like them is that you're playing with other people and you have an occasion to get to know other people, to share information with them, to achieve things together. Games are being used in lots of places that you wouldn't expect them now. So one of the interests that we have in a project here at Stanford is trying to use them to attract people to scientific problems, and in this case, in our project here, it's biology and specifically RNA folding, to get them to participate in doing things that computers might not be able to do as well.
There's a molecule called RNA that is at the heart of every living cell and many viruses. And what we've started to learn, I would say over the last 20 years, is that many or most of the RNAs in our cell are not just boring straight lines. They fold up into three-dimensional structures, and it's actually an RNA machine that turns out to make all the proteins in our cells. Diseases like HIV are tied to RNAs that fold or misfold in disease cells. We know the sequence of the genome of the HIV virus or of the H1N1 flu. Wouldn't it be great if we could defeat these RNAs by figuring out how they misfold? And wouldn't it be even better if we could fight fire with fire, if we could create new RNA devices or therapies that go target these RNAs that are misfolding? And that's why we created the Eterna game. Every week we have a challenge puzzle where we ask players to create an RNA that schematically folds up into a shape. It's a single chain, but we want it to come back and make contact with itself to form this shape. And so what the players then do is they use this online game-like interface to put in letters, A, U, G, or C, and then the game actually tries to evaluate using its best estimate of the physics of RNA folding. Does it really fold up in there? And it's very interactive. We get the solutions from all these players, they're published, and then they vote on which ones they want to actually be synthesized experimentally. And then so every week we then take these sequences, the ones that are the top 8 or the top 16, we synthesize them in my lab, and the players see that data, and they're allowed to make their own hypotheses for what's going wrong or going right, and then iterate and submit new sequences the next week.
So right now you could go into the RNA game and you could play for 20 minutes or 2 hours, and as your input was aggregated with everybody else, create some value. But you could also imagine actually going to work for a scientific company that gave you that game as a venue for your job. And if you've got something tough to do, whether it's teaching high school physics or motivating a collaborative group at work or getting people to reduce energy or better health practices, I mean, there's just a great range of things that these tools can be used for.
We had no clue if people would actually pore over data and analyze them and generate hypotheses. No clue. But it wasn't that hard. In the first week of release, we were able to get a little bit of press attention, and 20,000 people signed up. And out of that group of people, there's a subset who just got really into it. Some of them are librarians in Europe, and some of them are investment bankers who just play this game at night. And they are as talented and as devoted, if not more devoted, than the best students we have at Stanford. The Eterna players, the top Eterna players, are the best designers of RNAs in the world. They outperform any prior computational algorithm.
Gamification's not just a hammer looking for nails to pound on. I mean, there are important problems that don't have other easy solutions. Whether it's energy or health or work productivity, I think it's very exciting to take these packages and try to do something good with them.